How to motivate a lazy teen. When an adult hears that you have a child who avoids chores, puts off homework, and refuses to get out of bed in the mornings, they say, "My friend, you've got yourself a lazy teenager." This is a standard cultural stereotype of a teenager. However, I say that if you understand the psychology of what is going on underneath the stereotype, you have a solution to how to motivate your teenager. This is what we are going to cover on this video, where I will outline 6 factors that you need to address as a parent to supercharge your teenager's motivation. My name is Nalin Morjaria. I am a psychologist by profession, working as a parenting coach. The first factor for motivating teens is understand and work through self-defeating habits. For example, has your child got into the habit of doing things at the last minute? One young person who studied English at university told me that when he was at school, he never understood the role of proactive productivity. He says that he got into a habit of leaving everything to the last minute or until the last minute, when he would force himself to get going by pumping himself full of caffeine and do an all-nighter. He carried this habit into the university because he says habits stick with you, and learned the hard way that despite being good enough to do the university course, he was getting poor grades as a result of his study habit. To solve this, help your child learn the advantages and disadvantages of their current habits. This will help them work on maximizing their good habits and erasing their self-defeating habits. The second factor is, do they understand the reason why they need to do something? One reason people lose motivation is not knowing why you need to do something. If you don't understand why you are doing something, it is difficult to motivate yourself through it. Think about how many times you have heard your teenager groan, asking why they have to do something. We all do things automatically without thinking when things are going well. It's only when things get tough that we start thinking about them properly. For example, if a teenager is doing well at school, they will keep doing what they are doing because it's getting them good grades. If, on the other hand, the teenager is struggling, they will very quickly start questioning what is the point of doing this. For example, what's the point of learning algebra? What's the point of studying history? What's the point of reading a book? You will never get someone who enjoys these 3 things asking the question why. So not knowing why is a motivation killer. How you get motivated to do something when you don't see the point of doing it, especially when you find it difficult. When a teenager asks, "What is the point of doing well at school?" you can answer by saying, "It means you will have more opportunities in life. You will have more options you can choose from in what you want to do. You don't want to be forced into certain jobs or a way of life. So if you work hard now and keep your options open, then you can choose what you want to do in life." This motivates the teen more than just saying, "Because I said so." Factor 3 is respect their intelligence. Growing up as a teenager can feel like you are treated like a child and expected to just follow what the adults say. You feel like being scrutinized all the time. How would you feel if somebody was there all the time analyzing everything you do and then critiquing about it? Imagine that your parent is always coming over and telling you, you need to do this or that, and then telling you you are doing everything wrong. This parental attitude starts to have the opposite effect on teens, and it can make them more likely to double down in a form of juvenile rebellion. So, to motivate the teen, work with them at their level and work as a consultant. Understand the issues they are going through. By listening, understand their point of view before you work with them to address how to move forward. The more they contribute to developing solutions that work for them, the more motivated they would be. The fourth factor is they can't see how to move forward by working out a direction and a plan of how to get there. Lacking direction is a serious motivation deflator. If your teenager has got no plans or strategy for what they want to achieve on a day-to-day basis, this becomes an issue because the teenager's brain is scattered at the best of times. If there is no system to manage this, then it leads to a demotivated, directionless teenager. So whatever your child's goals, academic or personal, it will help them immensely if there is a plan for the achievement of that goal. You might be wondering, how is it even possible to get my teen to have a goal? For that, you need to sit down with your teenager and discuss where they are currently struggling. For example, if it is maths, let's create a plan on how we can stop you struggling in maths. Establish a routine and get resources together such as textbooks or YouTube videos or websites. In other words, anything that will help them to commit to a manageable schedule for 30 days. For at least 40 minutes focused study time on maths 3 times a week. When they get encouraged and disciplined to do it for at least those 30 days, it will start forming a good habit. Do not compromise. Guess what? After 30 days, your teenager will see massive improvements in maths. After 30 days, your teenager would have internalized the routine and turned it into a habit. When something becomes a habit, it requires less willpower to do it. That means motivation levels go up. This can be done for the achievement of any goal. As a parent, it is vital that you gently lead and cultivate this in your child until it becomes a habit. The fifth factor is help with addressing difficulties. A strong factor that leads to demotivation is lacking understanding. Let us elaborate. Your teen can have all the optimism in the world, but as soon as there is something they find really difficult to understand, their motivation goes flat. And the longer they don't understand something, the worse it gets. This is why schoolwork suffers so much. When the going gets tough, the teenager gets going as far away as possible from the problem. It is very difficult to be motivated for something that is confusing. In those situations, you need to help your teen break things down. Every concept has got basic foundations. Teens need to learn to reduce complex ideas into the simplest forms and then build their understanding up from there. If they can see every complicated idea in a form of building blocks, then they can easily understand and learn to apply their learning to real life. This is the formula for long-term success. The last factor, number 6, is their self-belief that their effort will pay off. If teenagers do not believe in themselves, then it is a lot easier to give up when something goes wrong. especially when you hit an obstacle. The problem with life is that whenever you do something new, you will always come across obstacles. So if you don't believe that you can make it in the first place, it is very easy to give up. Having that self-belief or self-doubt will move your teenager closer or further away from success. Self-belief is that powerful. So, as a parent, the starting point should always be to cultivate and encourage self-belief. That says it is within you to succeed. If you find your teenager is not motivated, then work with your teen to work through these factors individually. As a summary, help them work through their self-defeating habits. Support them to understand why they are doing something. Respect and work with their intelligence. They need a strategy and a plan to succeed in their goals. They may need to break down a complicated idea into basic and rebuild it to make it practical. And finally, they need to believe in their own ability to achieve great things because you have their back. This is how you motivate a teenager. Thank you for watching. If you feel you need additional support in how to implement what we have discussed here, join our online Empowering Parenting Skills course, where we work with you to build your implementation skills. The link is below in the description. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and press the bell icon so you can be notified when we upload new videos. Most importantly, don't forget to join the revolution in practicing empowering parenting.